My name is Alex, and I used to live alone in a small apartment above an antique shop in New Orleans. I was 22 at the time, working night shifts at a downtown bar. Most nights, I'd come home around 3 a.m. and crash. The apartment was quiet, cozy even. But everything changed the night I found that mirror. T was propped up in the hallway, right across from my door. 7 feet tall, gold frame, covered in strange carvings, twisted faces, hollow eyes, and women with long necks. I hadn't seen it before. The shop owner, an elderly woman named Mrs. LeMay, said someone dropped it off late one night, muttering things she couldn't understand. She refused to keep it in the shop. "It makes the walls feel cold," she said. She offered it to me for free. I should have said no. The first few days, nothing unusual happened. Then I started noticing shadows, flickering in the corner of my eye. My cat, Knox, refused to enter the room with the mirror. She would sit outside and hiss. Sometimes, I'd catch my reflection lagging behind me. I'd move then, it would move. But not exactly. Once, I stared at it long enough to see it smile. I wasn't smiling. I tried throwing it out, took it outside, left it by the dumpsters. When I came back upstairs, it was in my bedroom. I ran to Mrs. LeMay in a panic. She wouldn't even open her door. Through the glass, she said, "You invited it. Only you can send it back." I stopped sleeping. One night, I woke to the sound of breaking glass. I rushed in. The mirror was cracking from the inside. Behind the fractured surface, I saw hands. Pale, thin, human, but wrong. They were pushing against the glass like it was a liquid surface. I ran. I didn't lock the door. I didn't grab anything. I just ran until sunrise. When I came back with friends and a priest, the mirror was gone. Only a ring of dust on the floor. But now, when I walk past any mirror, any reflective surface, sometimes I see someone in it wearing my face, but not quite me, still watching, still waiting, still smiling.
My name is Emily. A few months after my mother passed, I inherited an old house in the countryside. It used to belong to my grandmother, whom I never met. My mother never talked about her. In fact, she never wanted to go near that house. I took my dog, Luna, and planned to spend a weekend there, just to look around, clean up, maybe get it ready for sale. The place was silent, dead still, like time had stopped. Upstairs, there was a locked room. When I forced it open, I found an untouched bedroom. Bed, wardrobe, and in the corner, a small vanity table. On top sat an old, oval mirror, cracked diagonally. The air in the room was cold, even though it was spring. Luna refused to enter. That night, I heard footsteps upstairs, even though I was alone. The next morning, when I walked past the mirror, I noticed something. I wasn't in it. No reflection. Then, suddenly, a face appeared. A woman in a 1930s dress, with a burned face, skin peeling, mouth sealed shut. She stared at me with eyes full of something I can only describe as grief. She tilted her head slowly and vanished. After that, I started seeing her more. In the corners of windows, TV screens, even puddles. But worse, the woman began to look like me. First the hair, then the eyes, then the way she stood. She was copying me. One night at 3:17 a.m., the mirror fell off the vanity by itself, but didn't break. The crack had sealed ... Inside, the reflection smiled at me. My own face, but different, smug, wrong. I stepped back, and the glass breathed. I saw her hand touch the other side. My palm started to bleed. I blacked out. When I came to, it was morning. The mirror was gone. Luna was outside the room, blind. Her eyes had turned completely white. The vet had no explanation. I sold the house. I left everything behind. But every time I see myself in a mirror, especially in unfamiliar places, I wonder if it's really me looking back, or if she finally got out.
My name is Daniel. This happened about a year ago, after a car accident landed me in the hospital. They told me all the rooms were full except one, on the 13th floor. I hesitated. In most American buildings, the 13th floor doesn't exist. Superstition, I thought. But I was too tired to argue. When I stepped off the elevator, something felt wrong. The hallway was silent. Not hospital silent, dead silent. Flickering lights, peeling wallpaper, the smell of antiseptic, and something burning. No nurses, no sound, just a long corridor of closed doors. My room was 1306. Inside, it looked like any hospital room, except for the large built-in mirror across from the bed. I didn't think much of it until 3 a.m. I woke up to a faint clicking sound. The room was dim, but I could see the mirror clearly, and in it, my bed was empty. I was awake, breathing, but there was no reflection. Then, after a delay, my reflection returned, moving slightly out of sync. I raised my hand. He raised it too, but half a second later, and then he smiled. I wasn't smiling. The next day, I asked a nurse why the floor was so empty. She looked confused. "We don't have a 13th floor, sir." I froze. "I'm in room 1306, I said. She just walked away. Later, when I tried to leave, the elevator had number 13th button, and when I returned to my room, there was no number on the door, just a blank plaque. That night, the mirror began to pulse with light. I walked toward it. My reflection was not me, ... The man in the mirror had black eyes, pale skin, and behind him, the hospital room was decaying, the lights flickering, blood on the floor. He pressed his hand to the glass, and my hand started bleeding. He mouthed something. "When you leave, I stay. But when you stay, I leave." I passed out. When I woke up, I was in the ER on the first floor. A doctor told me they'd been searching for me for 2 days. "No one's allowed on 13, he said. Another whispered. That floor was sealed after a fire. 10 years ago, a mirror exploded in room 1306. No one survived. Since then, I avoid mirrors, because some mirrors reflect more than just your face. Some show what's waiting behind it.